Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 Phoenixes. How are you? Welcome, Phoenixes. Thank you for joining me in this labor of love, which is to awaken you to your own power. We all have it, the power within us. And, I'm here to talk about today about change, right? As we going through this season, it's spring and, excuse me, spring cleaning and being able to rebirth, right? Rise anew, right? I like the phoenix, which I always treasure, right? Rising from the ashes, but it's really all about rebirth, and that's where we are, and that's what change is really. I mean, everything is about how you take it and the perspective and that you take it in. And so you could see change as this very scary thing because you don't want things to be different because you're accustomed to it. But you could also see it as this lovely opportunity, right? This opportunity to really fix the things or change the things that weren't working because, you can improve. You could always be improving and seek to improve. And really, if there are parts of your life that you're not happy with, then that's when you really want to take a look at those parts and figure out, what do I need to change in all of them? Because change is inevitable, and that's the truth, right? But the reality that you're living really depends on what you're contributing to it, right? What your role is in either accepting it or allowing it or creating it, right? And we need to identify that because we do have that power, right? And one power that we really have is also the power of intention. What are we trying to achieve? We have to really just control the things that we can control, which is the way we perceive things, the way we interpret things, the way we react to them, right? And so we talk about change, it being this concept that is very difficult to sometimes do. But it really comes down to acceptance, right? And really it's something that clicks. It's like just the switch that goes when we make a decision, when we accept the truth. And that's what radical change is about. Radical change is about having radical acceptance. Being able to accept something for what is. Nothing more, nothing less. Just what it is, accepting it for what it is, not adding things to it, or it means this or it means that, because we attach meaning to things. We're not attaching any of that, right? No, it just is what it is. It had to be because this is what happened, or there was this much space, or this much time, or this much opportunity. That was the circumstance. And regardless of the circumstance, here's the thing, regardless of the circumstance, because a lot of us like to ruminate on the details, on the circumstance, on the things, on the little small elements. And the truth is that at the end of the day, regardless of the circumstance, this is where we are now. This is where we find ourselves in now. And we have to decide, what do we want to do with what is in front of us now? Right? Regardless of what it happened or contributed. Now, it's important to understand what contributed to something so we can improve upon it. As I say, there is nothing really that we can gain from the past other than the lessons that we should have learned from those experiences. That's all we can really gain from the past. So we learn the lessons. And the same thing is with everything else in moving forward. What can you take with you to improve upon it? But that's it. You come into this radical change, right? Nothing more, nothing less. That this is what you have before you and this is what you must do. So what are the benefits to radical change? Well, obviously, because it's radical change, meaning that you just come into acceptance faster, sooner than later. Instead of going through the turmoil of the back and forth and why and how could it be and I want to understand, it's just to say, okay, this is what is right now, and accepting that. And once you do, because once you accept it, then you can move past it. But until you accept it, until you acknowledge it, you cannot move past it, right? Like, what's the number one rule? You must, right? You can't be in denial, right? You must admit that you have the problem, that it is a situation in order to change it. So radical change just makes it a lot faster, right? It shortens the time. And the not so obvious ways that it also helps is that you're programming different now. Now your mind is expanding, right? It restructures. You have to restruct at a very cellular level when we adapt. And that's what it is about change. It's our ability to adapt, not the change itself, because again, change is inevitable. So for radical change, you need radical acceptance. So radical acceptance, again, is just to accept it as what is, nothing more, nothing less. And these are 5 ways to come into radical acceptance. All right, you ready for this? Y'all ready for this? These are all the juicy tips. I'm telling you, I'll be giving this out. These are things that really, they come, like I say, all of my work is a mixed bag of different modalities, TBT, CBT, energetic healing, clearing, and things like that. It's really a mixed bag in my divinity, my intuition, my gifts, as to what I feel is out there in the universe and understanding the process, right, of learning, of change, of all those things. So 5 ways to come into radical acceptance, okay? Number 1, be like water. Oh, that is my favorite, by far my favorite one. Like, I'm going to get that tattooed. I'm pretty sure I probably will, because it's one of my favorite. Be like water. Like, just look at water. Water just transforms. It just, no matter what the surface is, it just transforms into that surface. And it has all sorts of ways to actually create motion and growth, right? It could evaporate. It could, dry up. It could flow harder, so it could force itself and create strength. It could be gentle, right? It's persistent. Water is absolutely this amazing, transformative, mutable thing. So be like water. Be able to adapt to your surroundings, but still continue on. Still be persistent in your goal. Like, if you're going down, you're going down. Water flows down in any which way it has to go through, or what it has to do. It's flowing down if that's the current, right? As if if it has to flow whichever way that it's flowing. Well, it doesn't flow up, right? But water will be persistent in its pursuit, and it adapts all through what it has to adapt in order to do that. So number 1, be like water. Number 2, read the room. Read the room. Communication is so much more than just verbal. And some people have to wait for that verbal confirmation or affirmation. It's like, no, if you sense something, then you speak up and confirm. You speak up and clarify. Hey, this is what I've been picking up on. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I reading this wrong? Can you guide me here as to what you're feeling? Clarify, right? Be able to do that. Read the room. And I don't mean superstitions. I don't mean those things. I mean, you feel it. You feel energy. Is it some time in your place? You feel like if you really want to engage in this, if you have the energy to engage in something, you know that if you go into a room, you know that these are negative people or are the negative vibes. Like, we know this. We know this intuitively because it is in our core. And we feel these things, right? So listen to that and read the room in order to give you the information that you need in order to make that informed decision. Number 3, have an objective view. See things for what they are. Nothing more, nothing less. What are the facts? What's the proven evidence about the situation? What am I feeling? And how true is that? What is true or not? What is true and what is not true of that? Feelings aside, what am I seeing here? What can I go with here? What does the situation mean? What are the options that it offers me? Right? What can I do about this? Those are the things. Have an objective view. Number 4, this and that. Not this or that. Things aren't just black and white. There's all this gray. You can want something and feel bad for it, right? But still want it. And make a decision if you're going to do it or not. What are the consequences? What are the pros and the cons? Do I really want to do it? So I go ahead and do it. Even though I feel guilty about it, or whatever the situation, the emotion, whatever the ambivalence is, we got to resolve it. Make that decision. Take those consequences. But understand, it's all mutually exclusive. It's not all mutually exclusive, right? Is what I meant. It's not this or that. It's this and that. And what are the pros and cons? And what benefits and aligns to more of what I want, the reality that I want? If it's change that I'm seeking, what am I doing different in order to get a different outcome? Right? What would be the best solution here to choose, given what I want to achieve? These are the questions to ask. Not is it one or the other, it's both. But what is going to help you do number 5? Spring forward. What is going to help you spring forward? That's number 5. Make a decision and go ahead with it. Put your all into that decision. Be able to identify any resistance and resolve it. Or reorganize your thoughts. Set into motion, make that decision and plan for it and be about it and set that intention and focus and plan it out and make it feasible. Oversimplify because we overcomplicate, but allow yourself to take the steps, the actions to actually make it come into fruition, materialize. Okay, so there you have it. How 5 ways to lean into radical acceptance. Number 1, be like water. Be adaptable. Be adaptable, focused, and relentless. Read the room. Understand when you have to go with the current, go with the flow, right? Have the objective thinking. Nothing more, nothing less. What is this objective? Objectively. Nothing more, nothing less. Not adding anything to it, not taking anything away. It's this and that. Everything is possible, but it's really about what are your options and what are you going to do about it. What are your pros and cons? What do you rather do? What serves your purpose and your desire? And number 5, make that decision and really go ahead and forward with it. All right. Now, I cannot guarantee radical acceptance, right? All things and your healing are up to you. Radical acceptance is like a switch. It really is like a decision. And it feels hard to do and to be able to do. But it's really about you accepting it, coming to terms with it, and deciding that it's just about what you can do with what you have and moving forward and making it work. Because if you are serious about what you want to obtain and about your goal and about taking control, then nothing should stand in your way. Whatever it is that you have to do, you have to get to the point where you're so ready. You're so ready that it doesn't hurt to give anything up, because what you desire, you want that so bad. All right, so you already know. It is within my highest hope that you find value in some of these tips and these tools, and that it really may propel you to your highest purpose and your highest self. And as always, I am here to serve. You know where to find me, because I know together we rise. And if we can do that for each other, then we will build a better world and a better collective. And that is all that I'm trying to do here. So you already know, guys. Thank you for joining me again, and reach out.